I wanted to take a minute to put together a quick video because so many people have asked me about Airbnbs or VRBOs or short-term rentals or whatever you want to call them. I've met so many people recently that have bought their first rental home and they're going to make it an Airbnb and they're going to make millions. With the IPO coming, maybe you can make millions with the IPO. With a regular Airbnb, it's not quite as glamorous and as money flowing as one would seem. So I figured we'd go through it. I've got some numbers. I've got one of my Airbnbs I want to talk about. I've really been contemplating. This was first it's a normal house in a normal neighborhood in a city that's a vacation city. So we have a lot of tourism, a lot of stuff going on. It's a cute little place. As you can see as we walk through, it's 3-bedroom, 3 queens. There's TVs in every single room. Nice little kitchen area. It sits on a creek. I mean, it's your typical home, and it's where somebody would want to go get away from the city. And this used to be a long-term rental for about 2.5 years, and for the last 2 years, it's been on Airbnb. And so the good, bad, and good, and maybe not so good again. First of all, Airbnbs are a lot of work, and there is some weird stuff. I've got a lot of stories. If you can like this video, subscribe to the channel. I am excited to publish all kinds of things. I mean, people have stolen my light bulbs, but that's a different video. It's a different story. So subscribe, and we'll get there. So anyway, normal house, normal neighborhood in a tourism city. This is the breakdown. So I've actually got the spreadsheet up here, and what I'm showing right now is what it makes from a long-term perspective. And so I've got all the bills listed here, and this is all, as a long-term rental. And so you can see here we don't have cleaning. We're not buying products, things like dish soap and laundry detergent and things like that. We don't have really generally upkeep because this isn't something that we're having to take care of on a daily basis because the tenants in a long-term rental are doing that for us. Landscaping's not my problem. I don't have to worry about that. We've got electricity, again, paid for by the tenant, not my problem. If they're late, they get it turned off. It's their problem. We've got gas, water, trash. Again, none of it is my problem because the tenants have it in their own account. And if the trash doesn't come today, they're not calling me. So there's a lot of pros to a regular rental here. Property taxes are going to be the exact same thing, whether it's a long-term rental or a short-term rental. Insurance is a little different. It's a little cheaper for a long-term rental versus a short-term rental, so you've got a little bit of savings there. But all in all, for this particular property, I'm getting about $1,600 a month long-term, and that's kind of what it's rented to for a while. Plus tax, sales tax, rentals tax, but that really is not my my take-home. And so total cost for this property as a long-term rental is about $191.59 a month, averaged out over 12 months. And that's the average cost per month. Then we look at the net on that is we're taking home about $1,408 a month. Of course, this doesn't account for mortgages or any of that pieces. This is just pure bottom line net. And so this is what it makes as a long-term rental. I'm going to go ahead and switch over here to what it looks like and what the spread is on an Airbnb. So first thing to notate on an Airbnb is there is no guaranteed income. This property, I was pretty excited. It rented a lot. And what I mean by a lot is it was rented on an average all year round, an average of 4 out of every 7 days every week, which is pretty good because most Airbnbs that are normal homes, things like that, they just rent on the weekends. And so that this was averaging 4 days a week, I was pretty excited. So I thought I was making the money and I wasn't really digging down into the numbers and the budget and the costs. And as I said, these are a lot of work. They're calling you in the middle of the night. There's fires, there's smoke alarms, there's batteries in the doors. I mean, there's a lot to it that I don't think people really realize. And so I'm back to kind of breaking down the cost. So first of all, there is a spread on the cleaning. And on busy months, our busiest month, it costs about $720 a month to clean. And then you've got our slowest month, which is about $240 a month to clean on average. And so that's the spread there. But we're also paying for products, so dish soap, hand soap, the little smelly scented things. We're paying for that. We're paying for toilet paper, paper towel, those kind of things that you don't think about because people think this is like a hotel, but even though it's not like a hotel, they don't replace it, and they just consume your stuff like they're on vacation because they're on vacation. You've got some more things here. So general upkeep, and these houses are getting used and abused a lot more than a traditional rental. And so you're doing things, you're replacing things, they're wearing out furniture. And so I've just amortized that over 12 months, and that's really it. They're wearing out things fast. Landscaping, don't have to do that on a long-term rental, but this place has got to look good. Otherwise, it loses its curb appeal, and people stop renting it, or they're unhappy when they get there. So you got to keep paying for landscaping. You're paying for the electricity. And again, these are all averages. Here, the average electricity for this place is about $86 a month. Gas, got to heat it. Got to have hot water. So we're paying for that. It's about $54 a month. Water, same thing. They need water. People like their showers. So that's $57, almost $58 a month. Trash, that's broken out for this particular property because we have to pay for it separately. That's about $16, almost $17. Property taxes, again, the same. Internet is one of those things I almost forgot on this list. And the reason being is they want good internet. You can't buy the cheapest internet. When people come to these places, they're staying for business. They want to be able to game. They want to watch movies. So you're buying business class internet. And for this place, that's about $90 a month. Other stuff here, again, pest control. It's your problem. Some long-terms people take care of that for you, but in my long-terms I don't. On my short-terms I do. I had to have bees specifically from this property 2 months ago removed. It sucked, but got to make people happy. Got to make sure they stay safe. Insurance, as I said, is a little bit higher. And then, of course, general maintenance. There is a lot more general maintenance going on with Airbnb because you've got a lot of people checking in. They're breaking locks. Batteries have got to be replaced constantly. It's a lot more than your typical. So my typical cost for this particular property on a monthly basis, averaged over 12 months, is about $14.27 a month. July, because this is a summer town, this is nice and cool. People like to get out of Phoenix. We were making about $36.96 a month, so almost $3,700, and that's all Airbnb, VRBO, taxes, all that kind of stuff. That is my take that we're being deposited into our bank account from Airbnb, VRBO, or the direct sites. Rental income for February, because February is our slowest month, we brought in about $1,646, which is still higher than our average long-term month. And so every other month in between is a good average. I mean, it's almost spot on. So we just went ahead and I averaged the whole year out based on 12 months. And so my average rental income for the entire year, and this is based off a couple of years worth of use now, is $2,671. And so that sounds pretty good for a property that would normally be long-term for $1,600 a month. That's why everybody's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do a short-term rental because I can make so much more money. But the reality is the net is only $1,243 a month on Airbnb. And if you jump back over to my long-term, I'm making $1,408 with a long-term. And so even though all the big numbers are rolling into the account and the numbers look good and there's a lot of activity going on, with this particular property, which is an average house and an average neighborhood and an average thing, I make more money by renting it out long term, and that doesn't even account for my time. I spend at least 20 hours a month dealing with this particular property and each Airbnb rental. With a long-term rental, I spend less than an hour a month, and that's even rare too. I mean, in case something goes wrong, it's really the only time I spend on the long terms and drawing up leases and things like that. So if I put a price on my time, it's even worse. And so the conclusion here is I'm actually going to take this property and make it back to a long-term rental. I'm actually going to go out and sign the lease tomorrow. This is some things we didn't account for here is the setup for this. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but I'm really good at shopping for furniture. I mean, I get things cheap, they last, that'll be another video. So again, like and subscribe, please. I'll go through how I buy for my properties and, the best way to do it, because people are going to wear out this furniture, whether it's expensive stuff or cheap stuff. But anyway, it costs about $10,000 for a property this size, and that's cheap to furnish it, TVs, outfit it, and everything else. And so you've also got those startup costs. So really, really look at the numbers when you're deciding if you want to do a Airbnb or short-term rental versus a long-term. There's some cases that make sense. I've got a formula for that. I do have properties where it makes a lot of sense for short term. This, however, isn't one of them. So anyway, thanks for listening. If you have comments, things like that, like, share, do your thing. I appreciate you listening. Hopefully this helps somebody out and they didn't waste 2 years to figure out these numbers that it took me to do so. So thank you again, and we'll see you next time.